Welcome to Chinese History and Mythology.
Hello friends, welcome back to Chinese History and Mythology. Last time we said that Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu, the two commanders guarding the border at Quiqiu, had been stuck outside for so long that no one ever came to rotate them out. Their anger kept piling up. Duke Xiang of Qi had said it himself, "When the melons ripen, I will replace you and bring you back." But 1 full year passed, the melons ripened again, and not only did he refuse to replace them, he shut them down with one cold line and told them to wait until the melons ripened one more time. At that moment, Lian Cheng finally made up his mind. He was going to get rid of this ruler. To make it work, Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu first found a key person, Gongsun Wuji. Gongsun Wuji had grown up inside the palace. Duke Xiang of Qi had demoted him before, so he carried real hatred in his heart. He had also been waiting for the right partners. Lian Cheng wrote him a letter and laid everything out. Duke Xiang of Qi's wild behavior, his mood swings, and how he neglected the border troops again and again. Lian Cheng said directly that they were willing to support Wuji and raise him up. Gongsun Wuji read the letter and felt thrilled. He wrote back at once and agreed to act as the inside man. To pull the palace in as well, he secretly contacted Lian Cheng's younger sister, Consort Lian. He promised her that once the plan succeeded, he would make her the lady of the state. Consort Lian agreed immediately and said she would cooperate. Soon, Duke Xiang of Qi handed them an opening on his own. He heard that Beigyu Mountain was a great place to hunt, and he decided to go out in the 11th month. Once that news reached the palace, Consort Lian sent word to Gongsun Wuji right away. Wuji then sent the timing to Quiqiu overnight. They all agreed to strike in early 11th month. At first, Lian Cheng wanted to rush back while the capital was empty and take it by force. But Guan Yiwu was steadier. He said it would be safer to set an ambush at Gufen first, kill Duke Xiang of Qi out in the open, and only then return to the capital to install Wuji. That way, fewer things could go wrong. From there, everything moved according to plan. On the first day of the 11th month, Duke Xiang of Qi really did go hunting. He brought very few people with him. He only took Shi Jifenru and Meng Yang and a few close attendants. They reached the detached palace at Gufen first and stayed the night. The next day, while burning the forest to drive animals out and shooting on the hunt, a huge wild boar suddenly appeared. Meng Yang saw it and shouted that it was not a boar, it was Peng Sheng. Duke Xiang of Qi shot 3 arrows in a row and missed every one. He was so frightened that he fell off his chariot, hurt his left foot, and lost one shoe with silk patterning. When he returned to the detached palace, he was restless and unsettled. Late at night, he was still furious about the missing shoe. He took his anger out on the servant Fei and whipped him until Fei's back was torn open and bleeding. That single beating pushed Fei straight into the rebels' arms. Fei stumbled out with fresh wounds and ran into Lian Cheng, who had come to scout the situation. Lian Cheng tied him up and questioned him. Fei used his injuries as proof that he hated Duke Xiang of Qi too, and he talked his way into their trust. They untied him and sent him back in as an inside helper. As soon as Fei got back inside, he first told Shi Jifenu what was happening. Then he ran to Duke Xiang of Qi and said the rebels were about to strike. He even offered a plan. Someone should pretend to be the ruler and lie in bed, while the real Duke Xiang of Qi hides behind the window. Meng Yang volunteered to die in his place. He lay down and was covered with the embroidered dragon robe. Duke Xiang of Qi hid below the outer side of the window. Fei and Shi Jifenru then went to block the attackers. But when the rebels rushed in, Fei was cut down first by Lian Cheng, and Shi Jifenru was killed as well. Lian Cheng stormed into the bedchamber and chopped off the head of the person on the bed, only to realize it was not Duke Xiang of Qi. Then he noticed that shoe with silk patterning showing under the window. He pushed the window open and dragged Duke Xiang of Qi out from behind it. Right there on the spot, Lian Cheng cursed him for being unkind, unfilial, shameless, and untrustworthy. Then he killed Duke Xiang of Qi and buried him under the window together with Meng Yang. Once Duke Xiang of Qi was dead, Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu reorganized their troops and returned to Qi. Gongsun Wuji had already gathered his loyal men inside the capital. The moment he heard the news, he opened the city gates and let them in. After that, Gongsun Wuji took the throne. As promised, He made consort Lian the lady of the state. He appointed Lian Cheng as chief minister and made Guan Yiwu the deputy minister. The older ministers in court were unhappy, but they had no choice and could only go along for the moment. Guan Yiwu then urged Gongsun Wuji to post proclamations and recruit talent so that his reputation would rise. Gongsun Wuji accepted the idea. Guan Yiwu recommended a younger clansman, Guan Yiwu. Gongsun Wuji immediately sent people to invite him. The only question now is this: will Guan Yiwu actually come? Let us keep going. Earlier we mentioned that Gongsun Wuji sent people to invite Guan Yiwu. This Guan Yiwu, whose courtesy name was Zhong, was very tall and strongly built. He looked powerful and full of masculine presence. He had read many books, knew a great deal, and had broad experience. Other people believed he had real ability, that he could handle major affairs, find ways to save a state, and also find ways to make it stronger. Guan Yiwu once went into business with Bao Shuya. They worked together and made money together. When it came time to divide the profits, Guan Yiwu always took twice as much. Bao Shuya's followers were unhappy and felt it was unfair. But Bao Shuya said, Guan Zhong is not greedy for money. His family is simply very poor. I am willing to let him take more. Later, they went to war together and served in the army. Every time they fought, Guan Yiwu stayed toward the back of the formation. When the army withdrew and headed home, Guan Yiwu always rushed to the front. Many people laughed at him and said he was cowardly and afraid of death. Bao Shuja again spoke up for him. Bao Shuja said, his family has an old mother. He stays alive so he can return to take care of her. How can you call him cowardly? Guan Yiwu often discussed matters with Bao Shuya, but when Guan Yiwu spoke or made decisions, he usually thought about himself first and calculated his own gains and losses first. Bao Shuya did not get angry at all. Bao Shuya said, people all encounter good fortune and bad fortune. Guan Zhong is someone who thinks carefully and calculates well. When real danger comes, he is actually more likely to protect himself. When Guan Yiwu heard this, he was deeply moved. He sighed and said, the ones who gave birth to me are my parents. The one who truly understands me is Bao Shuya. From that point on, the two became very close friends. The kind of friends who would stake their lives for each other. At that time, the ruler of Qi was Duke Xiang Zhuer. Duke Xiang had two sons. The elder son was named Zhou, born to a woman from Lu. The younger son was named Shoubai, born to a woman from Ru. Both had grown up and reached the age when they needed teachers. Guan Yiwu said to Bao Shuya, the ruler has two sons. The one who will inherit the throne will be either Zhou or Shoubai. Let the two of us split up and teach them separately. When they later take the throne, we will recommend each other. Bao Shuya felt this made sense and agreed. So Guan Yiwu and Shao, who became teachers to Prince Zhu. Bao Shuya became the teacher to Prince Xiaobai. Later, Duke Xiang wanted to bring Wen Jiang to Zhuo and indulge himself with her. Bao Shuya felt this would lead to disaster. He said to Xiaobai, when a ruler behaves in such a chaotic way, people will talk and people will laugh. If he stops now and cuts it off completely, the matter might still be covered up. But if he keeps going, it will be like floodwaters breaking through a dam, and it will surely turn into a great catastrophe. You must go and advise the ruler. Xiaobai truly went to advise Duke Xiang. He said, the death of the Marquis of Lu has already caused much gossip. Men and women must be kept separate. You cannot ignore this. Duke Xiang became furious. He shouted, you little brat! Where do you get so much nonsense? Then he lifted his foot and kicked Shoubai. Shoubai had no choice but to withdraw. Bao Shuya then said to Shoubai, I have heard that those who behave recklessly will always meet disaster in the end. You and I should first go to another state to avoid trouble. This will both save our lives and give us time to wait for a chance to do great things. Xiaobai asked, which state should we go to? Bao Shuja said, rulers of large states have bad tempers and change their attitudes quickly. I think it is better to go to Ru. Ru is a small state and will not dare to treat us badly. It is also close to Qi, so it will be convenient for us to return later. Xiaobai said, fine, let us do that. So they went to Ru. Duke Xiang heard that they had left and did not pursue the matter, letting them go. Later, Gongsun Wuji seized the throne and became ruler. He sent people to invite Guan Yiwu. When Guan Yiwu heard the news, he immediately said, "These people have a blade at their own necks, and now they want to drag others down with them." He then discussed the situation with Zhou. Since Prince Zhu's mother, when Zhong was in Lu, they decided to send Prince Zhu to Lu. Zhu Kuang of Lu let Prince Zhu stay at Chengdu and provided him regularly with food and supplies, allowing him to settle down first. Time passed to the second month of the 12th year of Duke Zhong of Lu. It was early spring. On the Qi side, Gongsun Wuji changed the reign title. Officials of all ranks in Qi went to court to congratulate him. As soon as they entered the court, they noticed something. Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu were standing at the very front, ahead of all the other ministers. Many people felt deeply unhappy when they saw this. Yang Lin noticed their discontent and made up a lie. He said, "I heard from a guest who came from Lu that Prince Zhu plans to borrow Lu troops to attack Kiev. Have you heard this?" Everyone replied together that they had not heard anything. Yang Lin said, "No more." But once the court session ended, the officials grew more uneasy the more they thought about it. Fear crept in. They all went to Yang Lin's home and asked him, "What exactly is going on with Prince Zhu attacking Qi? Tell us in detail." Yang Lin did not explain right away. Instead, he asked them, "What do you all think about this?" Dong Goya spoke first. He said, "Although the former ruler Duke Xiang did many terrible things, what crime did his son commit? We have been hoping every day that Prince Zhu would return." As he said this, some people in the crowd actually began to cry. Yang Lin seized this moment and revealed his true thoughts. He said, "Do you think I humbled myself before Gongsun Wuji because I had no conscience? No. I endured humiliation to wait for a chance to do something great." He continued, "If we can act together, remove the one who rebelled, murdered his ruler, and seized the throne, and then restore the former ruler's son, would that not be better for everyone? Would that not be more just?" Dong Goya asked, "What plan do you have?" Yang Lin said, "There is a man in Kiev named Gao Jingjong. His family has served as officials for generations. He has great prestige in the state, and everyone respects him. Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu have no real merit, yet they stand at the front of all officials. Gao Jingjong also hates them for this." Yang Lin continued, "If Zhao Jingjong sets up a banquet and invites Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu to drink, they will definitely go happily." Yang Lin went on, "I will go see Gongsun Wuji and tell him that Prince Zhu is bringing the Lu army to attack Kiev. Gongsun Wuji is foolish and lacks courage. Once he hears this, he will surely panic. When he panics, I will suddenly draw my blade and stab him. At that moment, who would dare come to save him?" Yang Lin continued, "After I kill Wuji, I will light a fire as a signal. You will shut the gates at the Jiao residence and kill Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu. Then everything will be resolved in one move." After hearing this, Dong Goya said, "Gao Jingjong hates evil men, but if we ask him to personally do something like this, he may not be willing. We cannot force him. Here is what I suggest. Let him only host the banquet and send the invitations. I will take responsibility for everything else." So Dong Goya went to see Gao Shi. Gao Shi agreed immediately. Gao Shi at once prepared the banquet and also sent Dong Goya to Lian Cheng's home and Guan Yiwu's home to tell them, "Gao Shi invites you both to drink wine." Everything went smoothly. At the agreed time, both Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu arrived. Gao Shi raised his cup and said, "The former ruler committed many faults in his conduct. I worry about the state every day. Today, thanks to the two of you helping establish the new ruler, I can now guard the ancestral temple in peace and no longer live in fear." He then said, "Because of illness, I have long been unable to go to court to see the new ruler. Today my health is a little better, so I prepared some wine to thank you both for allowing me to guard the ancestral temple in peace, and let my descendants live in safety as well." Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu politely declined for a while. At this moment, Gao Shi smiled on the surface and told the servants to close the outer gates. Gao Shi said, "Today we drink. We will not leave until we have enjoyed ourselves." But he secretly instructed the servants, "Today, no news must leak out." Do not report anything. Only wait until smoke or fire appears in the city. Then come tell me." At the same time, Yonglin hid a dagger in his clothes and went to knock on the palace gate, asking to see Gongsun Wuji. After Yonglin met Gongsun Wuji, he said, "Prince Zhou is bringing the Lu army and will arrive very soon. Please think of a solution quickly and make a decision at once." Gongsun Wuji panicked as soon as he heard this. He asked, "Where is the state uncle Lian Cheng?" Yonglin replied, "The state uncle and Lord Guan have gone outside the city to drink and have not returned yet. All the officials are in the court hall waiting for you to discuss the matter." After hearing this, Gongsun Wuji went into the court hall. As soon as he sat down, the officials in the hall rushed forward together. Yonglin stabbed Gongsun Wuji from behind. Blood immediately flowed onto the seat. Gongsun Wuji died on the spot. Gongsun Wuji had been ruler for just over 1 month. At this time, Consort Lian heard that something had happened in the palace and committed suicide inside the palace. Yonglin then had people light a large fire outside the court hall as a signal. The smoke was thick and rose straight into the sky. At the Gao residence, Gao Shi was still urging the guests to drink. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door and shouted loudly that there was a fire outside. Gao Shi immediately stood up and walked toward the inner rooms. Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu felt something was strange and were about to ask what was going on. At that moment, soldiers lying in ambush in the corridors suddenly rushed out. They immediately struck Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu, cutting them into pieces. The servants who came with them had no weapons and were also killed. Afterward, Yonglin and the other officials arrived, one after another, at the Zhou residence. They discussed the matter and decided to cut out the hearts and livers of Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu to use as sacrifices to Duke Xiang. They then immediately sent people to the Guffin detached palace to retrieve Duke Xiang's body, rewrap it, conduct the burial rites again, and formally announce the mourning. Next, they sent envoys to Lu to bring Prince Zhou back to Qi to become ruler. When Duke Yuang of Lu heard this, he was very pleased. He planned to let Prince Zhou bring troops to Qi, but Shibo advised him, Qi is strong and Lu is weak. Qi having no ruler right now is actually good for Lu. Do not send troops lightly. First, stay calm and watch how the situation continues to change. After hearing this, Duke Zhuang of Lu could not make up his mind. Yonglin had people light a large fire outside the court hall. Once the fire burned, thick smoke rose straight into the sky. At this moment, Gao Shi was hosting a banquet at his home, constantly urging Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu to drink. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door from outside and shouted loudly, "There's a fire outside!" As soon as Gao Shi heard this, he immediately stood up and walked toward the inner rooms. Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu looked confused and thought to themselves, "Why is there suddenly a fire? What exactly has happened?" Just as they were about to ask what was going on, soldiers who had been lying in ambush on both sides of the corridor rushed out at once and began attacking directly. Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu had no time to react and were cut down into pieces. The servants who came with them also suffered the same fate, because these servants had no weapons and could not resist at all. They were all killed as well. Not long after, Yonglin and a group of officials arrived, one after another, at Zhao Shi's residence. They discussed the matter inside the Gao residence for a while and finally decided to cut out the hearts and livers of Lian Cheng and Guan Yiwu to use as sacrifices to Duke Xiang. Next, they immediately sent people to the detached palace at Guffin to retrieve Duke Xiang's body. They cleaned the body again, dressed it properly again, and then held the funeral procession again and formally announced the mourning. At the same time, they also sent envoys to Lu to bring Prince Zhou back to Qi and make him the ruler. When Duke Zhong of Lu heard that Qi wanted to welcome Prince Zhou back as ruler, he felt very pleased. Duke Zhuang of Lu also thought, "I might as well let Prince Zhou return to Qi with troops, that would be more secure." However, Shibo advised Duke Zhuang of Lu. Shibo said, "Qi is strong and Lu is weak. Qi having no ruler right now is actually good for Lu. Do not send troops lightly. First stay calm and watch quietly to see what changes may still happen in Qi." After hearing Shibo's words, Duke Zhuang of Lu could not make up his mind for the moment. Just at this time, when Jiang returned to Lu from Juku, because her brother Duke Xiang of Qi had been killed, after Wen Xiang returned to Lu, she urged her son Duke Shuang of Lu every day. She kept saying, You must send troops to attack Qi. You must punish Gongsun Wuji, the one who killed the ruler. You must avenge your uncle." Later, when Zhong heard another piece of news, she heard that Gongsun Wuji had also been killed, and that Qi had sent envoys to Lu to welcome Prince Zhou back to Qi as ruler. When Wen Jiang heard this, she was extremely happy. She made up her mind to help Prince Zhou. So she pressed Duke Zhuang of Lu again, saying, "Do not delay any longer. Set out immediately. Hurry and escort Prince Zhou back to Qi." Duke Zhuang of Lu was pushed by his mother and had no choice but to obey her command. He had to ignore Shibo's advice and personally lead the army out. Duke Zhuang of Lu brought 300 war chariots. He appointed Calmo as the main general. He also appointed Qinzi and Liangzi as left and right guards. Then, they escorted Prince Zhou back toward Qi. At this time, Guan Yiwu said to Duke Zhuang of Lu, "Prince Shoubai is now en route. From Ru to Qi is much closer than from Lu to Qi. If Prince Shoubai returns to Qi first, then the positions of host and guest will be decided. Once he settles in first, it will become troublesome. Please lend me some good horses. I will go first to block Prince Shoubai." Duke Zhuang of Lu asked, "How many troops do you need?" Guan Yiwu said, 30 war chariots will be enough." Duke Zhuang of Lu agreed, so Guan Yi would set out first with 30 war chariots to chase after Prince Shoubai. On Prince Shoubai's side, he also heard that Qi now had no ruler. Shoubai discussed the situation with Bo Shuya. They borrowed 100 war chariots from the ruler of Airu to escort Shoubai back to Qi. Guan Yiwu chased hard along the way, traveling day and night. He caught up to Jimo and heard that the Ru chariots had already passed through, so he continued to chase after them. Guan Yiwu's chariots ran another 30 li and happened to encounter the Ru troops stopping to eat. Guan Yiwu saw Shoubai at a glance. Shoubai was sitting upright and properly on his chariot. Guan Yiwu stepped forward, first performed a formal greeting, and then asked, "Prince, have you been well recently? And where are you heading now?" Shoubai replied, "I plan to return to my state to handle my father's funeral." Guan Yiwu said, "Prince Zhou is the eldest son. By custom, he should be the one presiding over the funeral. You, Prince, should be walking behind. You should not be working so hard and rushing ahead." At this moment, Bo Shui immediately spoke up and said to Guan Yiwu, "Guan Zhong, step aside. Everyone now follows their own master. There is no need to say more." Guan Yiwu looked around. The Ru soldiers around them all had wide eyes and fierce expressions, as if they might start fighting at any moment. Guan Yiwu understood in his heart that if he acted immediately, he had too few men and would not be able to win, so he pretended to be obedient, nodded in agreement, and slowly retreated backward. But after he retreated, he suddenly did something unexpected. He immediately drew his bow and nocked an arrow. His movement was extremely fast. He aimed the arrow straight at Shoubai and released it in one shot. Shoubai immediately let out a loud cry. Blood burst from his mouth, and he collapsed onto the chariot. Bao Shui rushed over at once to save Shoubai. Shoubai's attendants also shouted that something terrible had happened. Everyone began crying in panic. Taking advantage of the chaos, Guan Yiwu quickly urged his 30 chariots forward and sped away. As he rode off, Guan Yiwu muttered to himself along the road, "Prince Zhou really has great fortune. It seems his fate is to become ruler." Guan Yiwu returned to Duke Zhuang of Lu and reported everything in detail. He then raised a cup together with Prince Zhou to celebrate. The people of Lu also relaxed. They believed Shoubai was already dead. They thought there was now no one left to compete with Prince Zhou for the throne. So their march slowed down. When people along the road offered wine, they drank. When food was offered, they ate. They moved forward slowly, feeling completely at ease. But no one realized that Guan Yiwu's arrow had not hit Shoubai's body at all. It had only struck the belt hook tied at Shoubai's neck. Shoubai understood very clearly that Guan Yiwu might shoot another arrow. So, Shoubai immediately came up with a plan. He bit his own tongue to make his mouth bleed. Then he spat out a mouthful of blood and pretended to be badly wounded, lying still on the chariot. The act looked completely real. It even fooled Bo Shuya. After a short while, Bo Shu realized Shoubai was not seriously hurt and immediately said that although Guan Yiwu had fled, he might return, and they had to move faster. Bo Shuai quickly had Shoubai change clothes. He put Shoubai onto a lighter and faster chariot. They took side roads, and rushed toward Lindsay at top speed. When they were close to Lindsay, Bao Shuya entered the city alone first. He went to see the key ministers. In front of them, he praised Xiaobai again and again, saying Xiaobai was capable and could stabilize Qi. The key ministers asked Bao Shuya, "Prince Zhu will arrive soon as well. How should we deal with him?" Bao Shuya said that Qi had already seen 2 rulers killed in succession, and the state was in chaos, and without someone truly capable, it could not be stabilized. He then said that Xiaobai had arrived first while Prince Zhu was still behind, and this was the will of heaven. He continued by saying that Lu was sending Prince Zhu back because they wanted benefits from Qi in the future. Bao Shuya then used Zhong as an example, saying that when Zhong supported Zaitu as ruler, their demands never ended, and the 2 states ended up fighting for many years. He asked whether Qi, after so many disasters, could endure Lu constantly asking for things. The key ministers then asked how they should refuse Lu. Bao Shuya said that as long as Qi first established its own ruler, the people of Lu would naturally withdraw. Xi Ping and Dong Woya both said that Bao Shuya was right. So everyone immediately welcomed Xiaobai into the city. They enthroned Xiaobai as ruler. Xiaobai became Duke Wan of Qi. Later, a poem was written specifically about the arrow striking the belt hook. Its meaning was that Duke Zhong of Lu was celebrating while the people of Ru were worried. And who could have imagined that the arrow had struck only a belt hook, and from this quick thinking alone, one could see that this man would one day unite the lords. After ascending the throne, Bao Shuya said that the Lu army had not yet arrived and they had to find a way to block them. So Bao Shuya sent Zhong Sunchu to meet Duke Zhuang of Lu and personally inform him that Qi already had a ruler. When Duke Zhuang of Lu heard that Xiaobai had not died, he was furious. He said that the eldest son should inherit the throne, and that the younger son had no right to be ruler, and that he would not let 300 chariots withdraw just like that. Zhong Sunchu returned and reported Duke Zhuang's words to Duke Wan of Qi. Duke Wan asked Bao Shuya what they should do since the Lu army refused to retreat. Bao Shuya said that they should block them with troops. Qi immediately mobilized its forces. Prince Changfu was appointed right-wing general, with Ning Yu as his deputy. Dong Woya was appointed left-wing general, with Zhang Sunchu as his deputy. Bao Shuya, by order of Duke Wan of Qi, served as central commander. Yang Lin was appointed as the vanguard. Qi assembled a total of 500 war chariots. After the assignments were made, Dong Woye proposed a plan. He said that Du Zhuang of Lunuki was prepared and would not rush straight in. He added that Qianqi was a place rich in water and grass and suitable for stationing troops, and that they could set an ambush there and strike the Lu army once it entered, which would surely lead to victory. Bao Shuya said this was a good plan. Qi deployed its forces accordingly. Ning Yu and Zhang Sunchu each led a unit and hid in ambush. Prince Changfu and Dong Woya went around from other directions to prepare to cut off the Lu army from behind. Yang Lin was responsible for the frontal challenge to lure the Lu army deeper in. When the Lu army reached Qianqi, Guan Yiwu said to Duke Zhuang of Lu that Xiaobai had just taken the throne and people's hearts were not yet settled, and they should attack immediately and not delay. But Duke Zhuang of Lu replied that according to Guan Yiwu, Xiaobai had already been shot dead long ago. So Duke Zhuang ordered the army to camp at Qianqi first. Duke Zhuang's camp was set at the front. Prince Zhu's camp was set behind. The two camps were 20 li apart. Early the next morning, scouts from the Lu side rushed in to report. They said that the Qi army had already arrived, and that the Qi vanguard commander Yang Lin was standing at the front of the lines, openly challenging and provoking them. When Duke Zhuang of Lu heard this, he said that they should first crush the Qi forces, because once the people inside the Qi capital became afraid, everything would become easier. After saying this, Duke Zhuang took Qinzai and Liangzai with him, mounted a war chariot, and drove straight to the front lines. Across the battlefield, he shouted insults at Yang Lin and said that when Yang Lin had secretly plotted to kill the rebel, he had come to Lu for help, but today he had changed his position again, and asked where his sense of loyalty and trust had gone. After shouting this, Duke Zhuang raised his bow and prepared to shoot Yang Lin. Yang Lin immediately put on an expression of shame and guilt. He did not confront Duke Zhuang head-on. Instead, he turned his chariot and fled. When Duke Joyang saw Yang Lin retreat, he immediately ordered Cao Mo to pursue and kill him. Cao Mo drove his chariot after him. As Yonglin fled, he kept glancing back. Suddenly, he turned his chariot around and engaged Cao Mo directly. The two fought for several exchanges, and then Yonglin fell back again and continued to flee. Cao Mo clenched his teeth and refused to let him go. Holding his halberd with all his strength, he chased closely after Yonglin. But as he continued the pursuit, he suddenly sensed that something was wrong. Qi had already prepared everything. Soldiers under Boshuda burst out from all sides and instantly surrounded Cao Mo. In an instant, Cao Mo was trapped inside the encirclement. With no other choice, he fought desperately, slashing to the left and striking to the right. He battled fiercely inside the ring and was hit by 2 arrows. Only after great effort did he finally break through the encirclement and escape. On the Lu's side, Qin Zi and Liang Zi saw that Cao Mo had fallen into heavy danger and became extremely anxious. Fearing something might happen to him, they prepared to lead troops to rescue him. But at that very moment, a major change occurred on the battlefield. The Lu army suddenly heard loud movement on both the left and right flanks. Immediately after, Qi's hidden forces charged out. Ning Yu led one force in a sudden attack. Zhong Sanchu led another force and struck as well. The Lu army was hit on both sides at the same time. At the same time, Bo Shuya personally led the central army and pressed forward from the front. The Qi central force advanced steadily, like a solid wall pushing toward the Lu army. In an instant, the Lu army found itself attacked from 3 sides. Qi troops pressed from the front, ambush forces struck from the left, more ambush forces struck from the right. The Lu army collapsed into chaos. The formation broke apart. Many soldiers began fleeing in all directions. At this moment, Bo Shuya issued an order within the Qi army. He said that whoever captured the ruler of Lu would be rewarded with land equivalent to 10,000 households. As soon as this order was announced, the shouting of the Qi army grew even louder. Many soldiers began calling out. Many began searching for Duke Zhuang of Lu. On the Lu side, Duke Zhuang saw that the situation had become critical. Qinzi immediately took action. He pulled down the embroidered yellow command flag from Duke Zhuang's chariot and threw it to the ground. Liang Zai immediately picked up the flag and planted it onto his own chariot. Qinzi asked Liang Zi what he was doing. Liang Zi said that he would use the flag to deceive the Qi army, making them think the flag was with him so they would mistake him for Duke Zhuang. Seeing that this plan might work, Duke Zhuang did not hesitate. He quickly jumped down from his chariot. He switched to a small, light carriage. He also changed into plain clothes. He intended to escape, disguised as an ordinary person. Qinzi followed closely behind Duke Zhuang. While blocking attackers, he protected Duke Zhuang. As they fought their way out of the encirclement, on the Qi side, Ningyu saw the embroidered flag from a distance. The flag was planted below the roadway, with heavy troops guarding it. Ningyu became convinced that the person beneath the flag must be Duke Zhuang of Lu. He led his men to surround it. At that moment, Liang Zi removed his armor, revealed his face, and directly told the Qi troops that he was a general of Lu, and that their ruler had already gone far away. By this time, the Qi army was certain of victory. Bao Shuya also knew that the overall situation had been decided, so Bao Shuya gave the order to withdraw the troops. Zhang Sunchu brought forward the captured war chariots. Ningyu escorted Liang Zi forward as a prisoner. Duke Guan of Qi then gave the order. He said to execute him on the spot. Liang Zi was executed on the spot. But at that moment, there were still 2 Qi forces that had not returned. The units led by Prince Chengfu and Dongwo, Yawa still missing, and no news had come back yet. Duke Guan of Qi therefore kept Ningyu and Zhang Sunchu at Qianxi, ordering them to stay with part of the army to wait for and support Prince Chengfu and Dongwo Ya, while the main Qi force withdrew and returned home first. On the Lu side, Guan Yiwu was in charge of weapons and equipment, and remained in the rear camp. When he heard that the front army had been defeated, he immediately made arrangements. He ordered Xiaohu and Prince Zhu to hold the camp, while he himself took chariots and troops forward to meet and assist the retreating forces. Just then, Duke Zhuang of Lu fled back to the camp. Not long after, Cao Mo also broke out of the encirclement and returned with the remaining scattered troops. They counted their forces and quickly realized how severe the losses were. Nearly 70% of the army had been lost. When Guan Yiwu saw the numbers, he said that the army's morale was completely gone and that they could not stay in this place any longer. So they broke camp overnight and retreated under cover of darkness. Less than 2 days after their retreat, war chariots appeared ahead, blocking their path. When they looked closer, they saw that it was the two key forces that had gone around their rear, led by Prince Chengfu and Dong Woya. Cao Mo immediately raised his halberd and shouted for Duke Zhong to run, saying that he would fight them to the death. Cao Mo then called to Qinzi and asked him to help fight the key troops. Qinzi charged forward and engaged Prince Chengfu in battle, while Cao Mo rushed at Dong Woya. The two of them held off the key forces with all their strength, buying precious time. Guan Yiwu seized this moment to escort Duke Zhong and break through, while Zhou, who protected Prince Zhu as they forced their way out and fled. The key army pursued them closely. Among the pursuers was a young key officer wearing a red robe who chased Duke Zhuang. Duke Zhuang turned back and fired an arrow, striking the man directly in the forehead and killing him on the spot. Another pursuer in white rushed forward, and Duke Zhuang shot again, bringing him down as well. After seeing their men shot down, the key troops slowed their pursuit slightly. At this point, Guan Zhong, also known as Guan Yiwu, made another critical decision. He ordered the Lu soldiers to throw weapons, armor, and even war horses along the road as they fled. The purpose was obvious: to make the key troops stop to seize the spoils, giving the Lu army a chance to widen the distance. Thanks to this tactic, Duke Zhuang and his group finally managed to escape. On Cao Mo's side, the fighting was brutal. He was slashed twice on the arm, yet he kept fighting and killed many key soldiers. In the end, he also broke out of the encirclement and escaped alive. Qinzi, I was not so fortunate. He was killed on the battlefield. Later historians commented that Duke Zhuang's disastrous defeat at Qianqi was entirely the result of his own actions. There was even a poem written to mock this event. Its meaning was that Prince Zhu was the son of an enemy, so why go to such trouble to send troops to welcome him back? If Duke Zhuang truly remembered his deep blood feud and could not share the same sky with his enemies, then helping Prince Zhu made even less sense than having helped Gongsun Wuji in the first place. After escaping, Duke Zhuang and his followers were like fish that had slipped through a net, each one desperate to run for their lives. But the Qi army did not let them go so easily. Xi Peng and Dong Woya continued the pursuit from behind, chasing them all the way past the Wen River. The Qi army also seized the Wenyang area of Lu territory and left troops there to hold it, before finally withdrawing. The people of Lu, having suffered such a crushing defeat, dared not say much afterward. Now, let us turn back to the state of Kui. On the morning of the second day, Duke Guan of Qi Xiaobai went to court. The officials all came to offer congratulations, but Boshu spoke up and said that Prince Zhu was still in the state of Lu, that Guan Yiwu and Xiaowu were still at his side, and that Lu was still supporting him. He said that as long as Prince Zhu remained, this worry had not been removed, and it was too early to celebrate. Duke Guan asked what should be done. Baoshua replied that, after the battle at Qianqi, the state of Lu was already frightened from top to bottom. Baoshui then said that they should move the three armies again and press straight to the Lu border. He spoke very plainly. He said that they should force Lu to hand over Prince Zhu, and that once Lu saw the Qi army at its border, it would obey. Duke Guan immediately agreed and said that everyone in the states should follow Bo Shui's orders. After inspecting the army's bow, Shuya led the main force directly to Wenyang. He redrew the borderlines and then sent Gongsun Xipeng to deliver a letter to Duke Zhuang of Lu. The letter was written very clearly. Its meaning was roughly this: Bao Shuya, Minister of Qi, Baosh repeatedly before the ruler of Lu, a family cannot have two heads, and a state cannot have two rulers. The ruler of Qi has already completed the proper rites at the ancestral temple, and has taken the throne. Prince Zhu, still seeking the throne, is a source of discord. The ruler of Qi, thinking of brotherly ties, cannot bear to kill him with his own hands, and therefore hopes to borrow the hand of Lu to deal with Prince Zhu. As for Guanzhong and Xiaohu, since they once harmed the ruler of Qi, they should also be dealt with in front of the ancestral temple. Before Xipeng set out, Bao Shuya spoke to him in private. Bao Shuya said that Guan Yiwu was a rare talent in the world and that Xipeng should tell these words directly to the ruler of Lu. He said that the ruler of Lu would surely value Guan Yiwu and spare his life. Xipeng asked what to do if Lu insisted on killing him. Baosha said that as long as he mentioned the incident of the arrow striking the belt hook, the ruler of Lu would believe in Guan Yiwu's ability and would certainly keep him alive. Xipeng nodded and then departed for Lu. This is where the story pauses. What will Lu decide after discussion? How will Prince Zhu be handled? And what fate awaits Guan Yiwu and Xiaohu? We will leave that for the next time.
Sky in light, Nua healed the broken heart. Fuxi traced the world's design. Every age leaves stories bright. Yaya dynasty shaped bronze. Shang dynasty cast Qin dynasty forged the great walls. Han dynasty opened Silk Road winds. Three Kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Qin dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty Song dynasty raised learning's flame. Yun dynasty swept the northern plains. Ming dynasty strengthened walls again. Qing dynasty closed an ancient end. Leave stories bright. History and myth ignite in endless light. China's history moves in mystery through the night. Footsteps of this land enchant the world in light. Kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Qin dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learning's flame.